Hello YouTube land and welcome to Force in Unison Live! I am your host Dantes, and tonight we're gonna talk about how much Horizon Zero Dawn is selling. Tonight we're gonna talk about PS Plus ending PS3 and Vita support. But the best part about tonight is that we're gonna have some fun. And of course, joining me, like always, Kali Oh No! How you doing, Caliones?
Hey, how you doing, Dantes? How you doing, everybody? And yeah, I guess I mean it's not necessarily my favorite subject because we're gonna be having some Sony news and talking about other things that are not necessarily Nintendo centric. But I mean, like always, I promised Dantes that we're gonna do this show weekly. So I gotta power through it until Saturday because Saturday is the big one for me. But go ahead, Dantes, start it up so we can talk about the games.
Talk about the games, talk about everything aside from Nintendo, finally. Some PlayStation-centric news tonight. But anyway, let's do that sweet-ass rigmarole. I want to welcome everybody to Force in Unison Live, episode 23, Michael Jordan edition, right here at the Force in Unison Gaming channel. Please remember to subscribe, and like, and comment, so you can make these two crazy MFs happy. Also, please remember, hey, we do have a Nintendo podcast, like Caliones mentioned, and it's called the Get In and Get Out Nintendo Podcast every Saturday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, we do have a Facebook page called @Force in Unison Gaming. And finally, and Dantes says finally, go to Chiguero's News and SwitchCore.net and give some clicks and love to my boy Caliones. With all that said, are you ready? I said, Caliones, are you ready with the first piece of news tonight? So what is the first piece of news?
Well, the first one is talking about one of your, I'll say one of your top 5 favorite games for 2017. It's talking about Horizon Zero Dawn, and that it has surpassed $7.6 million in sales worldwide in the first year.
Units sold. Units
sold. But it also makes it the best-selling new IP on the PS4 as well. So it became the best new selling IP on the PS4. We're not talking about PS3, PS2, PS1, strictly PS4 here. But for a new IP and something that nobody knew that was coming from Guerrilla, it's actually well earned, well worth it, and it deserves a sell. So I mean, I can't hate on the game. Game is great, and it deserves to. I'm glad that people have been picking it up and enjoying it as well. So what's your take on this, Dantes?
So before we start with that, let me quickly go here. Boom. Some gameplay video in the background as we discuss Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn, one of the best games of 2017, blah, blah, blah. And I do believe that it's well-deserved. Again, the reason I'm happy for games like this to sell, the same with Mario Odyssey, Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Persona 5. Games like that are what, Caliones? Single-player games, right? So that means that it's not dead. Like a lot of people are saying. Everybody's going, games with service. Let's do game with service. Everybody let's do the loot boxes. Everybody let's try to get that sucker to spend some money in loot boxes, right? That's where big companies like EA, Activision, and of course, our buddies in Ubisoft are doing. So I'm just happy, Caliones. You have to, give it credit. A good game will sell no matter what. If it's a single player, a multiplayer, a live with service. If it's a good game will sell. I think with the success of this game, this means the Gorilla is not doing any other Killzone anytime soon. I'll bet you that means that they're full on in development right now for Horizon Zero Dawn 2. And I expect the game to honestly to come out on PS5. And hopefully, if they start working on it now, Sony can improve on what they did wrong on the PlayStation 4, and well, in every generation they do it wrong, which is they start really slow with exclusives. So hopefully they start developing the game now. They use the same engine. They optimize the engine. The Decima engine from Gorilla is one of the best engines in the industry, that even Hideo Kojima picked this engine to make Death Stranding. So I do believe that with optimization and having the engine built, Caliones, that they may be able to have Horizon Zero Dawn 2 in time for the PlayStation 5, or at least first year. God damn it, Sony. I know you guys do give a lot of exclusives. I want to give you credit, but we do have to wait a little bit for them. If Nintendo showed me something and I got spoiled, is I don't want to wait this long for exclusive. Now, admittedly, for Nintendo, they did struggle with the Wii U. I think because of them canceling the Wii U, that's the reason why they had so many great games the first year of the Switch. So it was maybe also timing. So we have to wait and see with the Switch timing if the next Nintendo console will have all those games first year, which could be harder if they decide to do one more Mario Odyssey or one more Zelda Breath of the Wild before the life cycle of the Switch ends. But we have to wait and see. Anyway, all that rant, just saying, I'm really happy about the game. I'm really happy how much the game sold, Caliones. Any thoughts on Horizon Zero Dawn selling 7.6 million?
Well, I'll say that Sony, what they found with Horizon Zero Dawn is a new mascot that they can help to push the Sony and the PlayStation brand. So they have to take good care of Aloy, take good care of the franchise. They have to, I mean, like you said, just make sure that Guerrilla is completely dedicated to the sequel, which they already said they're not going to work on any other DLC or anything else. They already released it, and they're just concentrating on the next games. So Killzone, sadly for fans of the franchise, is going to take a back seat, or is going to be given to somebody else. So don't expect Guerrilla Games to be working on another Killzone anytime soon, or if at all ever again. But if you remember something about the original Killzone, what did the original Killzone do? It was basically a technical showcase of what the PlayStation 2 could do. And this is something that, like you said, the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn could be what they used to launch alongside the PlayStation 5, and showing everybody what the system will be capable of when it comes to the graphical prowess, and how it compares to possibly the Xbox One X, which should be the one that would be out still, because I don't see Microsoft releasing another one before Sony does. So they hit a home run with the game. I'm glad that they took a chance, and I'm glad also that they're not trying to shoehorn multiplayer and all these other things into the game, and that they're strictly going with the first the single player campaign, and that because ultimately when it comes to, if you want to tell a great story, more often than not, you have to throw aside when it comes to the multiplayer aspect and things like that, because if not, the game itself, the story itself could suffer. I mean, there's only a few games that can throw in multiplayer and have a great storytelling aspect as well, which is something that Horizon excelled in. So I mean, I don't really see the sequel coming out until the PlayStation 5, and more than likely, I think it should be a launch day, like a day one game for it. And like you said, Nintendo, they showed everybody that if you have the games, especially in that first year, it will push the sales of the consoles. Sony doesn't necessarily need a push, because the systems are still selling, and they're selling just on par, if not better than what the PS3 did. But if they had these kind of games, this kind of support on the first year, which, like you said, Sonic struggles, they probably would have sold a lot more than they have. But yeah, I mean, great for Sony. Glad that the game's doing great, and that people are still willing to give single player games a chance.
Yep, I agree with that. I think the only thing that I want to add, you mentioned that Sony could help sell more. I don't think so, in a sense. Everybody was so hungry for the next generation because of the PlayStation 3 lasting so long, and the same with the Xbox. The both consoles, this came out of the gate selling really well. I think what helped Sony was, the great E3 that they showed the console. They showed that they were in for the gamers, which hurt Microsoft because they were kind of selling the system to be more a multimedia center. Because what Sony has a benefit, more than Nintendo, and you have to agree with this, Caliones, is they do have full third-party support. So even if Sony doesn't have games at launch, they'll have third parties supporting the system when it comes up, right? And that's a benefit, and that has helped Sony. I have to give them credit. Has helped Sony. That way they can take longer with exclusives. But what I'm challenging with Sony right now is Sony. I love it. I always gonna be a PlayStation fan, but I prefer that at least give me a great first party game at least the first year. I don't want to see another knack. I had to wait. I think basically it was a year before I had the first great Sony exclusive, which was infamous Second Son. So I'm hoping that I don't have to wait a full-on year to get a great game like that, right? So we'll see what happens. But again, happy for Horizon Zero Dawn selling 7.6 million. Again, I'm more happy because it's showing the first single-player games are still here to stay, Caliones, and hopefully companies like EA would stop the crappery. I want to say it's another word, but again, we're switching to PG this show. Anyway, Caliones. With that said, let's move to the next piece of news.
Okay, and the next piece of news, it's kind of like bittersweet because the positive out of it is that for people that own a PlayStation 4, they can really look forward to two really good games or great games that are going to be offered on this month's PSN. They have the Ratchet and Clank game, and they have Bloodborne, which are going to be available with the PS Plus. So for people that haven't played them, I know that you may not be a fan of some of those. I did play Bloodborne. I enjoyed the game. I don't really think it's one of the greatest games ever made, but the game it's still a great game.
It is one of the greatest games ever made. Now, admittedly, and this is gonna sound weak, I have not played Bloodborne, but it is on the docket this year. This year, it's not going to wait until I beat that game and get the plat.
Yeah.
But
just do like you always do. Blame it on the Switch.
Blame it on the Switch, yes. Yeah, I do blame it on the Switch. My plat output is really low this year. But the other game, Ratchet and Clank, Caliones, right? Oh, that game, I did plat it. Way better than the original Ratchet and Clank. Full-on remake. Again, Sony being smart with the pricing. They did $40 on this game with a full-on remake. The same way they did Shadow of Colossus, and Shadow of Colossus is selling really well too. Sony may have found a niche here with getting those type of games, Caliones, where they are remaking them full-on, great graphics, look great, plays great, but let's sell them at $40. And boom, look at that, how much they're selling. But anyway, those were the good news because they threw out the best month in PlayStation Plus history. But that came with some sad news, and that's kind of like, this reminded me, Caliones, and I'm going to throw some shade on Sony. This is one of that E3 presentation where they were like, look at that, you don't have to borrow games, you don't have to DRM, you don't have to be always online. Oh, but you have to pay for online. What? I didn't say anything. It's almost like Sony said you have to pay for online, but really quietly, and everybody was celebrating the price and everything else, but no one heard it. Kind of the same. Oh, look at these great games, but we're stopping support for the PlayStation 3. Anyway, go ahead, Caliones. What is the bad news about this?
Yeah, so you're talking about the classic, yes, but
yep.
What they always use. But every good salesman throws those pitches and they reel the people in, and once they're in, they say all those things, but you already got them anyway. So and that's what happened with the system. But basically, yes, PS Plus is going to get great support with those two games, but PlayStation 3 and PS Vita will no longer receive PS Plus games starting in March of 2019. So yes, it's a year away, and yes, Sony has to at least wait a year because people might be getting a subscription for the PS3 and the PS Vita right now. That is a year subscription. So if they don't want to worry about having to return money or do things like that, because people will complain, so they have to wait at least a year before they do it. But the support will be stopping for those systems. So I don't know, I think it'll hurt more for the people with the PS Vita than the PS3 itself, because the PS3 has been out longer, a lot longer, and it's had a long life, a lot of support. And it's just, it's about time for them to move on from the system if they want to support the PS4. And But the Vita is probably the one that hurts. But there might be a reason why they're deciding to move away from those systems. So what's your take on this, Dantes?
Okay, so my take with this, and I was telling Caliones my theory of why this is changing before we started the podcast, so hang in here with me. So I do believe that the reason they're moving away with the PlayStation 3 and the Vita is the PlayStation 5 may be closer than we expect. So the reason for that is that they cannot support PlayStation 3, PlayStation Vita, when they know a PlayStation 5 is around 1 to 2 years around the corner, right? That's one theory. The other theory, too, is, Caliones, is that the return of investment is not there. What I mean with that is they're seeing the numbers. They're seeing that a lot of people are playing using PlayStation Plus on the PlayStation 4. So why would they offer PlayStation 3 games if PlayStation 3 support for PlayStation Plus has gone down greatly? And the same with the Vita, right? Vita, admittedly, it is a failed system. It is a failed system. Did not sell. You know how much PSP sold, Caliones? Their life cycle? 80 million consoles. Now, admittedly, the DS sold like 120 or so and destroyed.
100, like 150. Just like 150.
50? 150?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, 150. So it sold 150. So the DS sold 150. Destroyed the Vita. Destroyed the PSP. But the PSP was no slouch. The PSP sold 80 million too. So it was a good, vibrant handheld. I expected that Sony expected the same thing for the Vita and did not happen. It was a failure. So why keep trying to hold on, give Vita free games to try to bring people to buy the system where they're not selling the system anyway? And again, it costs money, Caliones, as you know, to bring these games for free on PlayStation Plus. It costs money. So why are they going to spend the money on consoles that are not giving them the return on investment, man? That's pure and simple. So that's what I believe. But it could also signal, I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but it could also signal that we're getting a PlayStation 5 sooner than expected. Now, my opinion about this, it sucks. I love PlayStation 3. And unpopular opinion here, you guys are going to kill me. I like the PlayStation 3 more than the PlayStation 2. Oh, yes, I do. But
that's because you don't like Monster Hunter. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, I like Monster Hunter. But no, I do like Monster Hunter. I play on the Wii U, but it wasn't like, it's okay, it's fun. But anyway, well, my point to that is that I do like PlayStation 3. It had a great life cycle. It sold over 85 million consoles. That's pretty respectable coming from the horrendous launch that system had. I think it's time to let it go. I think it's time to move on. And I believe that by them not spending money in licenses for PlayStation 3 and Vita, they could bring better games for PlayStation 4. That's the expectation. Now, if Sony starts giving you crap and indie games again, then you can see that not turning out to be so great. But we'll see what happens. But maybe, again, PlayStation 5 might be around the corner. I don't want the PlayStation 5 yet, to clarify. I prefer the PlayStation 5 to be around 2020. And I honestly would like, Caliones, that The Last of Us 2 is a cross-generation game where it would come on PlayStation 4, but it also would come on the PlayStation 5. And I would be more than happy to drop money on PlayStation 5.
Same as the first one. Yeah, same as the first one.
Well, the first one, the difference, though, the first one was came out on PlayStation 3. PlayStation 4 came, but it waited a year until the PlayStation 4 version. What I'm saying is day-to-day PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 edition on the console. And I think that would help Sony immensely. And I would be buying Last of Us 2 on PlayStation 5 because, I want to play with the best graphics possible. So yeah, again, that's I think good. We'll see what happens. Any opinions of them ending that ending support for the PlayStation 3 and Vita, Caliones?
Well, I mean, you're talking about The Last of Us and talking about endings. That ending always catches me and makes like the when she turns to him.
Whoa! Spoilers! No! I know that Last of Us is an old game, but I don't want any people who hasn't played it. I don't want to spoil them for them. But yes, it is one of the best games of all time. But go ahead, Caliones.
When she turns to him and she says, "We're really the Last of Us."
Okay, sure, Caliones, sure. Bad joke, but keep going.
No, you're not part of GAF. but yeah. I mean, the PlayStation 3 has already run its course. It had its full lifetime. Like I said, the PS Vita is the one that has suffered the most. From the very beginning, because it seems like from the get-go, Sony gave up. If it wasn't for third-party games and JRPGs, especially the console would have been dead a long time, longer before than the Wii U. So Vita, it's sadly, certain decisions that they made with the memory and the cartridges on the games themselves, and that can't say enough. I mean, I loved it. I got it on the first day. I had it because they had the buy two get one free on the games themselves, but I gave up on it pretty quick because there was no support. But the PS3, it enjoyed a full life, and people that are angry that they're gonna start support on the PS3, don't be, because the console already served its purpose and spent its time on there. But moving along,
Well, wait,
and
before you go to
uh,
the next piece of news,
yes.
Hunter Boyer asked a question. Do you think they were to a port of Smash Bros to the Switch? We discussed on the Get In and Get Out last week. So if you want to go back and look at that podcast, we did talk about a possible port for Smash. And what we talked
But,
about,
but,
yeah,
but we're not gonna make them go back and
no,
listen to it. We can answer it right
I
now.
was gonna summarize it quickly. I want to say go back and give us the view and the like too, just in case if you want to. But the other how the quick summary is that we do believe that the port is coming. We do believe that that's a set in stone. We do believe that it's gonna be the cornerstone of the Nintendo Online. It's the reason why you're gonna be paying for the Nintendo Online, and we do believe that it's gonna have both the 3DS and Wii U modes, and I'm hoping that you get extra characters that you wouldn't expect from the original Smash. So that's kind of like a summary. But go ahead, Caliones. What is the next piece of news?
Well, I just want to throw in before you said that Emily Rogers, she did state through her Twitter account that Smash will be out this year. So I mean, so there you go. They didn't
Sony
specify if it's,
Sorry.
but but yeah, it will be out this year. That's what she stated, and she's a very credible source. I believe in her fully when it comes to leaks and things like that. So the game should be out. I believe it's going to be a port, and it's going to be a port basically because if you see the sales from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it makes way too much sense for them to just do a port right now and then dedicate their time for the new one on there. But I wanted to address something. I don't think Sony Soft will ever happen.
It is a
I
funny
believe
name.
in.
It's just a weird name, though. I don't think it benefits Sony, that one for sure.
Well, either way, the name makes Sony sound bad. Either Sony Soft
Yeah.
or Micro Sony. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
but they probably would go at war and destroy each other before that happens. And Microsoft and Nintendo, that's another thing entirely. And they're showing signs that they're willing to cooperate and play together. But Sony, I don't think it will. But and just saying they don't need to. So that's the main reason why. But the next piece of news, and this is one that I wanted to shoehorn in here because we didn't really have any Nintendo news. So I'm like, hey, I got to put something on here. I got to talk about Nintendo somehow. And thankfully, Blizzard threw me a bone. If you guys goes over to their Twitter account, I'm gonna go ahead and post a link on here, and I want you to tell me what you guys believe this is. And this is what I believe they're teasing. They're probably just playing around with all of us. But what I choose to believe is that Blizzard is telling us to sleep tight and have sweet dreams because a new announcement is coming soon. And if you look at the video on there, they have, I mean, as everybody knows, the main Diablo, and I believe they're
So
teasing.
let me describe for the people who are at home who can't see or they're listening to this or in the video form because I'm not showing it right now. I could have shown it if I was a little bit more prepared, but my bad. Quickly, it just show Diablo type of devil on a switch, like a light switch, and it just turns on and off, and it basically turns the switch on and off. So that's why all the Nintendo fans are jiggling in their pants right now because it is sounds like a little bit of an Easter egg announcing that Diablo could possibly come to the Nintendo Switch. But continue now, Caliones, that I gave that explanation on the tweet.
Well, I mean, if you're able to see the video, you see them turning the light on and off. And what are they doing? They're pushing in the switch, letting go of the switch, pushing the switch. So there you see Diablo and you see them pressing a switch, which I mean it could really be that they're teasing Diablo 3 for the Nintendo Switch. I don't think it's gonna be Diablo 4 or anything like that. It may be a Diablo collection, but I mean this is something that is not new. They talked about it before. Blizzard, I believe they said that they are, we're considering it, not necessarily working on the game, but just, considering it. Same thing with, games like, Hearthstone and those. But maybe this is them getting ready to do an announcement for Nintendo's 1 year anniversary, which is going to be 2 days from now on, March 3rd. So that's my take. That's what I want to believe. Maybe the third goes by, it goes to the fourth and fifth, and then I'll be like, you know what? They were just trying to sell the new nightlight that they have, and then they're gonna have in their store or something. I don't know, but that's what I want to believe right now, that Diablo 3 is currently being teased on the Nintendo Switch.
Well, we shall see, right?
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
And I see. Yeah, I saw that as well.
The quick asking, Hype Beast asks, when are you gonna dance Despacito, Caliones?
Well, like I said, it's gonna be really soon. I'm gonna do a deadline just so I'm not gonna be. It's gonna be by next Wednesday. You're gonna see it. It's gonna get posted on the channel.
We shall see. Anyway, Caliones, move on to the next piece of news.
Okay, well, the next one is that Hajime Tabata, he's been asking fans and about, once again, Final Fantasy 15. So, I mean, either it seems like everybody's talking about
God,
Final Fantasy 5 or
God.
Final Fantasy 15. There's no end in sight. I don't believe Final Fantasy 16 is not going to be out for another 10 to 15 years.
20.
Because the way that they're milking this one is like they plan on doing it, forever. There's another piece of news attached to this one, which is not here, which I'm going to talk about as well. But he is asking the fans if they will like new endings for the game. So Dantes, for somebody that has already played the game and beat it, even though you haven't necessarily played the DLC, how do you feel about him coming out and asking if you want new endings for the game?
I want him to just freaking finish the damn game and just move on. God, Square, what are you doing? That's why you are not anymore my favorite RPG developer for shit like this. I'm already done with the game. I'm having a hard time, Caliones, just going back to it and play all that.
You can see it on the background from here.
Yeah, going back to it and play the DLC that I have all that downloaded already. Like I have Prompto's DLC, I got Ignis DLC, I got everybody's DLC, and I haven't played it. And supposedly it helps fill a lot of holes that the original game had. But again, they're talking about having even more DLC next year. So when am I gonna play the game to see the full story, Caliones? I'm tired. I'm like, please, Square, just Square Enix, just stop and just goddamn, just. Anyway, I'm done with this game. It's not my favorite RPG anymore, Caliones. It's not even close. There's a little game called Xenoblade out there that's just kicking its ass. I don't have to worry about BS like this. But anyway, Caliones, any opinions about the never-ending Final Fantasy?
Well, I don't know, because when the game first came out, they were teasing that the main storyline to complete the game was going to be about, probably like 50 or 60 hours. But they've added so many things that I feel like if I ever go to play the game, I'm probably going to have to spend like 300 or 400 hours because they just keep adding and adding and adding to the game. And there's no stopping. They haven't said, okay, we're going to support the game for like 2 or 3 years. They haven't said like, Nintendo and Splatoon that they said, oh, they're going to get support for 1 year and you're going to have Splatfest for 2 years. So that's a specific timeline for the game. For Final Fantasy 15, there's no end to it. They haven't said anything. They haven't even teased Final Fantasy 16. And I remember, I think it was back when they teased Final Fantasy 10. They actually teased 11 and 12 as well. Close to the same time. But with this one, we haven't heard anything at all from Final Fantasy 16, and I believe that I haven't played the game. and I'm already ready to move on from it. So I'm pretty sure people that have already played it, they're done. They don't want any more. They want to continue. But do you want to know how much Square Enix is milking the game?
Sure.
Now they have a new crossover in between Final Fantasy 15 and The Sims 4. So you can get outfits from The Sims 4, so you can wear, so the characters can wear it in the game. So they at first they did the Assassin's Creed crossover, and they've been doing others as well. But I think Sims 4, I don't know, like it kind of like doesn't really mix. But that's how far they've gone with this game, and it needs to end.
Yeah, yeah, it just makes me sad, Caliones. How the mighty has fallen, and it just worries the hell out of that Final Fantasy remake, Final Fantasy 7 remake that is probably gonna come out PlayStation 10 at this point. Anyway, Caliones, let's move before I get depressed to the next piece of news.
Well, this is another great story for Capcom and for Sony as well. Even though there's two sides to this story. So one, Monster Hunter was once again, I believe, for the fourth consecutive week, the number one selling game in Japan. It sold almost 54,000 copies. With the second ones, Girls on Panzer Dream Tank Match. Third one was Metal Gear Survive, and fourth one Senran Kagura Burst, and fifth one is Splatoon 2 is still hanging on there. Number 6 Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, number 7 Breath of the Wild. I just had to throw those in. But
Sure.
but yeah, Monster Hunter is once again number one, and it keeps selling great. This is why you know that Sony made some sort of back dealings just to be able to secure the Monster Hunter franchise again, because this is how big that franchise is in Japan. And this is something where I know that there's been rumors about Sony maybe returning to a handheld eventually. But if they have this Monster Hunter franchise and they have the basically the license to it, and they're able to get it on that portable, maybe that's what it needs to push it and for it to compete against Nintendo's offering. So at least I'll give it a.
The other thing I want to say, I still don't agree that the Sony did some back dealings, because if they would have done that, why would it come to the Xbox? I truly believe, Caliones, there's no offense to the Switch, is that Capcom wanted to bring the game to the most powerful system so they can really evolve Monster Hunter into what it is now, which is a top-selling game everywhere around the world. It's not only Japan. So
I'm not talking about necessarily making back deals to like take the game away. I'm talking about, for example, like Double Cross being available in Japan only and not in Europe and the US.
I don't agree that Capcom is just losing money. That's just Capcom being stupid. But anyway.
Yeah, but that depends how much Sony gave it on the other side. But what we know for a fact is that Monster Hunter moves console in Japan. If you release a Monster Hunter game in Japan, it's gonna sell you consoles, and that's what happened for the PlayStation for the first 3 weeks, except on this one that the Nintendo Switch was actually the top-selling console in Japan. If you add the PS4 and the PS4 Pro sales, they came in roughly at like 36,000 compared to the almost 40,000 for the Switch. So it seems like whoever wanted to get Monster Hunter, they've already purchased the PS4 units, and the sales have stabilized to a point. So we'll see what happens. Nintendo, they are at a steady 40,000 consoles sold. I believe Kirby is going to be the next game that's going to be coming out, so we'll see how that pushes. But as far as Monster Hunter, it's already helped push that sales for the PS4, and it's back to normal, I would say. So but we'll see, unless they do another Monster Hunter bundle, PS4 bundle, which may prompt them to sell more consoles once again. But it seems like it's back to normal. Switch is number one on the hardware side. But Monster Hunter itself continues to sell, and that's, like I said, it's great news for Capcom, because they really needed a big hit, and they've had it with the game.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that was going to happen. So like I said jokingly every week that Sony won in Japan, and said enjoy it because it's going to end at some point. And I think 3 weeks was fine. It's kind of like when you have a big hit top movie is #1 for a couple of weeks, but then you have to give way to the real king. And admittedly, the Switch is the real king of Japan. They're going to dethrone Sony at some point. Sony announced that they sold 6.6, I think, consoles in Japan as of now, which is good. It's not bad, being that market is mostly a handheld market. But, hey, Switch is going to outsell that easily. I do foresee the Switch easily selling over 10 million consoles or units in Japan. But we shall see, Caliones, and congratulations to Monster Hunter. I keep seeing it on Twitter. I keep seeing a lot of people enjoying the game. People that you would never expect that would like Monster Hunter. This game is just becoming a massive success for Capcom, where Capcom is finally coming back from all the hell that they've gone through. So, hey, congrats, Capcom. We'll see what happens. But admittedly, I'm just saying, you still are dumb. Bring XX, Monster Hunter XX to the Switch. Come on, it's just going to make more money. And now you have 2 Monster Hunters in the market at the same time, one for the Switch crowd and one for the Xbox PlayStation crowd. So
yeah, I'll say this, like for Capcom, because they've been having issues, or they had issues when it came to the multiplayer side of Monster Hunter, but it seems like the single player experience, it's so good that it's actually worth it. The game has been both a commercial and critical hit. They did suffer on the multiplayer side, but they actually put the time to the single player side as well. So it's a great experience overall. Mainly the servers have been, for the most part, fixed for the multiplayer. But it seems like if you're looking to hunt by yourself or with a team, you're still gonna get a great experience with it. So it's a great game. So if you have a PS4 and you like those type of games, just pick it up. It's worth it.
Yep. Go ahead, Kylan, with the next piece of news.
Okay, so the next one had people on an upward, a positive one at first. Then it was somewhat negative, but and it was actually trending on Twitter a couple of days ago, and it's that Chrono Trigger was actually released for the PC via Steam. That was 2 days ago on the 27th. So a lot of people, of course, Chrono Trigger is one of the best RPGs ever made. If they tell you Chrono Trigger is coming over to the PC, people are going to rush to buy it. But the downside to it is that it seems that the version that they released on the PC, it wasn't necessarily optimized or anything, and it was okay. So, if you want to have the game and you have $15 to spare, it's available on PC now, but it's not necessarily like the definitive edition of the game or anything like that. It's just, the same one that you played on the Super NES.
Well, it is not. So supposedly the uproar that is on the game, Caliones, is because this is the mobile version of the game, and supposedly even it was poorly ported. It doesn't run well on PC, which is kind of stupid when you have this old game. I think that the one that should port it was the DS version. That's the one that just should have ported, and clean it up in your graphics. Just improve it. Just do some improvements, clean it up on the edges. Just make it from scratch. Don't bring the crappy mobile version. Chrono Trigger, it is one of the best RPGs of all time. I played it on the I played it when in the PlayStation era, but I still, to clarify, I played on the PlayStation era, but in the Super NES, to clarify. But still, Chrono Trigger, it is one of the best games of all time. So to me, it's one of those RPGs that are special. The music is great. There are over 8 endings. It is a sad game. There's one that you could say Chrono even die. So it's just spoilers, I guess, but it's a 20-year-old game. But anyway, I'm just gonna say that it really is a good game. It really is something special. And for Square again to treat it like crap, it's just not acceptable. It's not acceptable for people who are expecting it. Then you can why you would buy it on Steam, Caliones, when you can easily emulate this game and get the same effects and graphics and emulate either the DS or the Super NES version. Why would you then buy the Steam version, right? And this game is easily emulated. It's not like it's gonna destroy your PC, to play this game, right? So it is a great game. I wish Square would treat great games like this better. If there's one game that deserves a full-on remake, could be this game. Imagine this game with the Octopath Traveler graphics, Caliones, right? This game is one of those perfect games that would benefit for graphics like that. for a remake like that. But again, Squaresoft treats it bad. I don't know. I said Squaresoft. You didn't deserve that name. Square Enix. And it's just sad, Caliones. But yeah, Chrono Trigger, one of the best games of all time. Go ahead, Caliones. I don't think you had any opinions about this port release.
Well, I mean, it's something that I've said it before. You said it once again, is that well, Square Enix, they already said that they're going to be looking at their back catalog. They're looking to re-release their back catalog, and I'm pretty sure this is not what they mean when they're talking about re-releasing their back catalog. What I believe they will be doing is, like you said, taking an engine like the Octopath Traveler engine and doing, recreating the games, the Chrono Trigger game, the Xenogears game, like Final Fantasy VI, like those type of games with the Octopath Traveler engine, and re-releasing the games. Like if they do something like that, then the games do deserve another purchase. I'm not sure if I would say $60 is something that I would consider for the games. But if they can do like Sony does, like with Crash, with the Uncharted
Collection,
the Lost Legacy, the Lost Legacy, or
okay.
yeah, which they release at $40, then something like that would be easier to stomach. But I believe if for people that have a Nintendo Switch, if you have the Nintendo Switch and you haven't played the demo for Octopath Traveler, go to the eShop, download it, play it, because the game looks beautiful. And now that they've optimized it, we haven't played it yet, but it looks even more so. So if they can get Chrono Trigger and do a remake of the game with that engine, it would be worth the price of admission. So hopefully that's what Square Enix is saying, that they're looking to bring back their older catalog so they can change the engine and make it worth it for the new generation as well. So I know that they're doing it in a way, not with any older titles, but with games like I Am Setsuna and the Lost Sphere, that those are spiritual successor to the to the PS1 era type of RPGs, and they're like having a studio, the Tokyo RPG, dedicated to those. But hopefully they'll go back to their older library and bring those back as well. So hopefully they'll do it at some point.
And I want to give a cheap plug. I've been playing I Am Setsuna, and it is not a bad game. I don't understand why some of the bad reviews about that game. I think people just move on, and they don't like, some reviewers don't like old school RPGs, Caliones. But I Am Setsuna, it is not a bad game. I mean, the story is cliche as hell. Yes, it is. But I always say, Caliones, I always say it.
It's like a Final Fantasy game 10 type story.
Yeah, it has a little bit of that, but it is cliche. But I always say you can make the story cliche. It's just how you execute the story. And I feel there have been moments in this game where I've been engaged with the story. I'm like, okay, that's nice. Oh, nice. Oh, my God. Oh, okay. And the battle system is pretty tight, pretty nice. So, if you have the people who did Tokyo RPG. I haven't played Lost Sphere, so I know I've heard from people who like I Am Setsuna, the Lost Sphere did take a dip in quality, but I do believe that that's because probably Square rushed that game because they made that game fast, and even I Am Setsuna do feel rushed, Caliones, and there's some weaknesses, and I'll talk about it more in the Get In and Get Out Nintendo podcast because that is a Switch game too. But I do have to say that I want to give props to I Am Setsuna. If you haven't played it, and if you like old school RPGs, I recommend it. I would recommend it as an RPG fan. But anyway, Caliones, let's move on to the next piece of news.
Okay, and on the next one is that Activision, they are teasing more remasters of its IPs coming this year. So of course, we already saw, Crash. It sold great. It still continues to sell. It's only $40, but the game is a true remake or remaster of the original. So it is again one of those games that the controls they're kind of outdated, the graphics are outdated, but it did receive a new update that brings it forward to a new generation, and it's worth playing. They're talking about, one of the things that we talked about a week or so ago is the Spyro. That they're teasing, Spyro coming over, maybe doing like a Spyro trilogy with their games. We already know that they're probably not working on another Skylanders anytime soon, so they need to, Spyro and those characters, which have been living on those and not on their own games, they're probably going to bring those back again. But what they stated, it's and I'll quote, and I quote. It says, "We expect to release World of Warcraft Battles for Astronaut on our latest Call of Duty game in the second half of 2018. In addition, we expect to deliver ongoing content for our various franchises, including expansion packs for Hearthstone and Destiny 2, in-game events for Overwatch, and map packs for Call of Duty World War II, as well as releases of remastered versions of titles from our library of IPs." We also expect to release at least 2 new mobile titles during 2018, including the social casino game from King. But yes, as well as releases of our remastered versions of titles from our library of IPs. So, yeah, I mean, I'll say it's a pretty common business practice. You already have the look of the games. You already got the story. You already have those. You just need to, bring it over to a new engine. Of course, it takes, you cannot really just port it over. It needs to be redone completely again. But this is a quick way for them to, continue to bank on those games. Like I said, the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy sold great. They already teased Spyro. So anything that you would expect from them?
This is Spyro, basically. I'm just saying right now. I think the Eurogamer article clearly states this is Spyro, and it's gonna be Spyro. I mean, it is what it is. I think Activision may be realizing that, out of all the big publishers, Caliones, Ubisoft could be said that is the lesser of the evils. I guess you could put it that way. But Ubisoft is smart. He says, okay, I'm going to give you your game of service, BS, and I'm going to do my crappery and my shitty practices like with Assassin's Creed and stuff like that. And that's fine. But Ubisoft throws games. It throws Rayman here. It throws South Park here. It throws games in between. They are single player focused. They are just meant to say, guys, we want to cover all the genres. It's not gonna make as much money as like the Division or something like that, but we want to make those type of games, so be able to, like, Child of Light and stuff like that. Make those type of games so people are saying, oh yeah, at least they give me my single player or something smaller. Maybe Activision is seeing with the success of Crash Bandicoot that they can make stuff that makes the gamer happy. So when they throw the next Call of Duty or the next games with service, or if they do something shitty with Destiny, people are more forgiving because they have goodwill with the gamers, because they're trying to give you some games that are not the norm for them. And I think a Spyro remake makes sense. And again, if they did a deal with Sony like they did with Crash, if Sony pays for some of the developmental costs, it's a win-win, because it's basically making money in between them, right, for the game. So it's fine. I'm glad that Activision is looking at their past catalog and maybe remaking those games, because again, they can get goodwill from the gamer, and at least, I'm not saying it's acceptable, but at least some gamers may forgive them for some of their shitty practices. I won't forgive them, but some people may. I don't know. Just saying. And I did buy Crash, so I did buy some products of them. So anyway, go ahead.
Well, I mean, what I say is that if we talk about Sony, if we talk about Microsoft, and if we talk about Nintendo, out of all three of them, Nintendo has been the one that has been able to continually go back to their original IPs, the one that they released on the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, on the Game Boy, on their earlier consoles, and feature them again on the Virtual Console, sell the games again, make them available again, release the NES Classic, release the Super NES Classic. So they've been able to kind of like double, triple, quadruple, quintuple dip when it comes to making money off those games. So Sony, they're already a 20-plus-year-old company. And Activision has been creating games for Sony since the console basically launched. So they have games that are as old as older than 20 years or so. So they do have a right to go back and make money of those earlier games. So Nintendo doesn't. We don't really complain. We just like that we're able to get those games on our console, and that's why a lot of people are complaining about not having a Virtual Console currently on the Switch, because we still like to play those games. Yes, they're old. Yes, the graphics may be outdated, same as the control and all that. But we, for either nostalgic factors or, the games are just great that we like to, experience them again. So Activision, They're not saying that they're gonna re-release them as they were. More likely, like Crash, they're gonna rework them again, and release them to a new generation. And for those of us that played them, we're probably just gonna go back and experience them again if those were games that we remember fondly from our earlier years, with Activision at least. But yeah, it's more companies are going to continue to do it, and that's fine, as long as they continue to work on newer games and do that as well, not just concentrating on one single thing and completely leave the other part out of the equation. I'm fine with that.
Okay, move on, Caliones. Unless did we go through all the news or?
No, we have one more, and this is the last one. Okay, so if everybody remembers the Game Awards, and you remember this guy that he went to the stage. He seemed like he was drunk. He would not stop talking. He took the microphone away. He would talk. I mean, he was uncensored most most of it. Thankfully, they were able to cut certain things, but he just wouldn't shut up. Yes, it was because he was able to make his kind of game. He was proud of that. He even bashed EA, which is a company making that game or publishing that game for him. That's how drunk he was. But Joseph Fares, in his game, A Way Out, has gone gold. So it seems like some of the people, they may not have been turned away from it. It looks like a fun co-op game. It's not an online multiplayer game. It's not a single player game. It's a game that forces you to have a friend next to you to play the game together and to beat it. So they went with that decision. He doubled it on it. He's not going away from it. And it seems like people really want to play that game. So kudos. I would say, I put it this way, he's got some balls, and he doesn't care. He's pushing through. So
is this game? I thought this game was coming for the Switch. It's not coming. When I read the news, it didn't say anything about the Switch version. Wasn't it a Switch version there?
No, they never said anything about a Switch version. Okay. What you're probably thinking about is that earlier this year, or actually before 2018, they had a leak where EA was showing kind of like a timeline of some games that they were going to announce and things like that. And Faye was one of the games on there, including and A Way Out as well. So people figured they have Faye and a Faye announcement. They have A Way Out announcement. So it's probably like they're going to announce it for the Switch. But it actually turned out to be Faye, the one that was released for the Switch. And it just released this past week. A Way Out was never announced for the Switch, so it was just.
I don't know why. It seems that game is not that demanding to not be on the Switch, and mostly when the Switch is the one promoting couch co-op, it's like really again. I don't know. Just saying, Caliones. Well, I'm not poor begging because I don't do that shit.
If you ask him, he'll tell you. He's gonna tell you Nintendo and me are promoting couch co-op. Like they're two completely established entities.
Okay.
But
sure.
but I mean, I'll say he's making the type of game that he wants to make. That's pretty much what indie developers do. They make the type of games that they want to make. They could go work for a AAA developer. I mean, so from some of the indie games that we've seen, they are very talented individuals that they could probably go work for a company, but they don't do it because they want to make their own type of games. And this is what he's doing as well. So, game has gone gold. The game's not out, so we don't know about the reviews. We don't know about the reception, what score or what Metacritic score it has, or because that's what some of the people ultimately judge the games by what score it has. But I mean, it might end up being a great game, but what it tells you is that people are interested in it and they're buying it or pre-ordering it at least.
Okay. I don't have much to say about the game. Just wanted to put it because it was about the crazy MF that invaded the Game Awards. The game has gone gold. So if you're interested on his game, go and get it. But with that said, Caliones, I think we're done for tonight. 54 minutes. Look at that efficiency. Again, we like to keep our podcast under an hour. I do want to plug something quick, a little bit of house cleaning. Caliones just put up the full walkthrough of, can you pronounce the game?
Mulaka.
I can't pronounce it. I have hard times remembering. But Caliones, Mulaka, the game for the Switch. It comes also to other systems, but of course, Caliones had the Switch code, put the full walkthrough, right? And he's also working on the video review, but there's also a written review on switchcore.net. So if you guys want to go and read it, just a little bit of a plug. He put all the videos between Monday and Tuesday. Go back there and enjoy that content. And the reason I'm plugging it is because it is not on our normal schedule. As you guys go to our description box, you will see our full schedule, which I'll go through quickly. So, Mondays, Xenoblade Mondays. Wednesdays, streaming Wednesdays, where Caliones and Inkling G play Splatoon. Fridays, Toys and More Club plays Minecraft. I forgot this show. Tuesdays, of course, we have this show. And then, of course, Saturday, we do have the Get In and Get Out Nintendo podcast. And there's a couple more projects that we're working on that we may see some games. I am going to say it's just a little bit, just that maybe I may expand Xenoblade Mondays to something really long. and then
really long.
Really long. And then Caliones may also have his own Xenoblade Monday with maybe something. I don't want to say until Caliones feels comfortable that he's going to do the show yet.
Well, no, I'm gonna do it. I just don't know if it's gonna be something that I'm gonna continue doing for weeks, or if it's something that I'm gonna find out that the game is not good and I don't want to play it anymore. So you can say it. You can say it.
But it's Sea of Thieves, basically. Caliones is trying to show some Xbox love since we're really on this channel. We're really one-sided. So Caliones is a Nintendo guy through and through. I am a PlayStation guy, but Caliones has to give me credit. I'm also a Nintendo guy where I do play a lot of Nintendo games too. But I am not an Xbox guy at all. Caliones, maybe a little bit. I think Inkling G is a little bit more of an Xbox girl than Caliones.
Yeah. But because of Roblox.
Because of Roblox. It's not like she's an Xbox fan. But admittedly, we do not show a lot of Xbox love. So Caliones thinking of playing Sea of Thieves. Maybe we'll start with one episode or two if Caliones likes it. And we get, of course, because we're like Fox here. If the show is not cutting, it's not giving us the ratings, cut. It's delete. Anyway. So we're just saying some projects that we're thinking of and doing. But with that said, I think Caliones, it's time to end the show, right?
Well, one last thing that I want to. Well, before you start it up,
I put the music, but go ahead. Just say a bit during the music.
Well, what music are you playing right now?
The ending music.
Okay, but the one that we usually play on our other podcast. But remember, guys, today is it's March 1st. I don't know when exactly. It could happen within the next couple of hours, but the update for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 should go live within the next couple of hours, so be on the lookout for that one. I'm going to be looking for it as well. I really want to put my hands on it. I know that you're going to wait. I'm not sure that you're going to, but you might dip in a little and see what it has to offer. But
I want to wait. I really want to get the full DLC all out, everything in there, so I can, when I play the next time Xenoblade Chronicles, that's it. I'm done with the game officially. I love the game. I really love the game. I'm have to say that it's one of my favorite games in a long time. But I think I can't keep playing it because it just delays me playing games that I have in my backlog, like Persona 5, like I Am Setsuna, which I am playing, and little by little I'm digging in there. So hopefully I should finish I Am Setsuna in the next couple of weeks. So anyway, but yes, it comes out. We'll talk about it more during the Get In and Get Out. But now I'm gonna put the goodbye music. Bam, take it away. Hey, YouTube land! Thank you for watching Force In Unison Live, episode 23. Please remember to subscribe, like, and comment so you can make these two crazy MFs happy. Also remember, we do have a Facebook page called @Force In Unison Gaming. Also, go to the description box below so you can see the full channel schedule. Guys, please remember, we have on Monday Xenoblade Mondays, Tuesdays this show, Wednesday we have streaming Wednesdays, Friday we have Minecraft Friday, and of course Saturday the Get In and Get Out Nintendo podcast. Also, hey, you know where you want to go? Go to chiguerosnews.com and switchcore.net and give some clicks and love to my boy Caliones. With all that said, thank you again for watching. Long live gaming, right, Caliones? Good night, everybody.